You're listening to Never Heard of It, a Night Shift Radio production.
Did you know that in 2011 there was a Wonder Woman TV movie?
I did not know this, but
So
Pedro Pascal was in it.
Pedro Pascal was in it. That's how I found this. Also, Adrian Palicki, which
Adrian Palicki, he was in.
she was Bobby Morse in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh,
Mockingbird.
right.
Mockingbird is a great
Yes.
character.
I was thinking about who was I thinking about? You know, I am actually wait, did you watch the series finale of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Am I about to
No, I haven't actually watched like the last, I think, 2 seasons. I've got to catch up.
Should I not carry on? I don't want to spoil you.
Yeah, please don't.
Okay. Anyways, yeah, great character. Yeah, Adrian Palicki. I was thinking of somebody else. Adrian, someone who was in like one of those like. Carry on. I'll try to find who I was thinking of.
And I never know how to pronounce his last name, but Cary Elwes.
Cary Elwes. Okay.
Elwes is also in it. There's a great cast in this. And it makes me wonder, like, was this supposed to be part of like the CDW? That's the computer technology logistics company. Was this part of the CW universe, or was this something separate altogether? I mean, Elizabeth Hurley is in this.
Oh wow!
Yeah, Dr. Phil has a cameo as himself. Like,
and this was only a couple of years ago.
2011.
Wow. Well, I guess 10 years
10
ago.
years ago.
Wow.
I mean, that feels like a couple years ago, but
right.
It was 10 years ago. But yeah, I don't remember this ever being a thing at all. And yet, here it is.
And yet, here we are. It exists.
I will say, Adrian Palicki. I don't know how to pronounce her name. I'm sorry. I'm botching names today. Not a compelling Diana Prince in these photos.
Yeah, I could see that.
Well, I'll take that back. If this were set as like do you remember the series that DC did a while back of the DC Bombshells?
Yeah.
Where it was kind of 1940s era reinterpretations of the characters. She could kind of pull off that style of Diana, but like, I guess after now, however many years of getting used to Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, seeing this normally like bright blonde woman with a fake dark brown wig and a weird costume. I don't know. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying what she's selling.
All right. I could say, and so the Adrian I was thinking of was Adrian Paul, who was in the Highlander series. He played Duncan MacLeod in the Highlander series, but he was also in a series called Tracker, and he was also in a series called Relic Hunter. So, so way back when this is 2001, I had just graduated college, and I had gotten work as a master control operator. Name sounds cool. Definitely not it was a cool job. It just paid really bad. So basically my job was to run the shows. Like I was the one swapping the tapes for 2 TV stations, for the WB and for Fox. These were 2 stations owned by one company that basically ran the local affiliates here. So my job was I did the overnight shift where I ran these shows. So some of these shows that ran are things like Tracker, Relic Hunter, the Beastmaster series, Andromeda was a part of this, and so my job was to basically run those shows. Like I would throw the tape in, let the episodes run, basically catalog them and make sure I knew when like commercial breaks and stuff were, and a lot of like really crappy overnight movies. And Adrian Paul was in this show Tracker, and basically the show was an alien comes down to Earth and tracks down is basically like an alien bounty hunter for aliens that have come to Earth and like try to hide out in a way. So he was the bounty hunter for that, and it was a really it was a really cool show. I mean, it was cheesy as frick, like the Beastmaster, like these all fell in line with like Beastmaster, Tracker, Relic Hunter, who starred. Relic Hunter had Cassandra from Wayne's World, Tina Carrere. In it. No, Tia Carrere. Tia Carrere. Tia Carrere was the star in it, and Relic Hunter was very like Indiana Jones-ish. Like she was that kind of person. And then, like I said, Tracker, and then of course the Beastmaster series, which was based off the movie. And it was those like,
me as a kid.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I rewatch them every so often. So very, very, like very, very cheesy shows, but I freaking loved them, man. But Adrian Paul was in those, and I always think about him. He's been in a few things since. He was in Arrow as Dante for a few episodes, and he's got a few things coming up, but he really hasn't been in much. That's like, a lot of it's very smaller stuff. Yeah. But anyways, I reflect on those old shows a lot. I dig them. Yeah, and that's that.
What were we here for?
Oh, so we're here because hello and welcome to the Never Heard of It trailer edition. Oh yeah. I'm your host, Michael Fight.
And I'm Caleb. And I continue to be confused about there being more than one Highlander movie when they insisted on telling us repeatedly that there can be only one.
Right. I'm like, you're really breaking your branding here. This is confusing.
It's right there. It's the fucking tagline.
I know. So,
so we've spent all this time talking about the Wonder Woman movie with Pedro Pascal in it, and not even the recent Wonder Woman movie with Pedro Pascal in it, but the 2011 one. But we're here talking about a different movie with Pedro Pascal in it.
It is true. So we're here talking about the movie that's available on Netflix called Prospect. Prospect is a 2018 sci-fi film that was this is kind of a flew under the radar film. Has high acclaim. It was, I think it's like 88% on Rotten Tomatoes. If that's you put any stock in that, which I don't normally, which is pretty good for a low budget film this time. And again, this movie came out just before Pedro Pascal blew up. So this is just before like a year before The Mandalorian. This is, obviously before Wonder Woman. This is right off the heels of Game of Thrones. His character in Game of Thrones has already been dead by this point, but this is so Pedro Pascal is kind of like in between where he is now and what he was. So this was, this movie's, like I said, available streaming on Netflix. Content warning, there is some swear words in it, but it's, if you've watched any of the movies we normally recommend, there's always swearing. And there is,
if you're listening to this podcast, they're swearing. So
they're swearing. I mean, I think I've already said the F word once. There is a bit of blood and violence. And we do see a very slight bit of gore, but in the sense of like medical gore and less of like violent gore.
Mm-hmm.
But that's about it.
Now, something stuck out to me. You mentioned this being a low budget film, and I did take a quick look, and it was a $4 million budget, so not a lot. Disappointingly low gross, though, only $22,777.
Which is curious because it did actually get a major theater release. It ended up being in Regal Cinemas, which is, in top 3 most cinemas in America. Most screens in America. I think behind like AMC. I think it's like AMC, Lowe's, Regal in like that order.
So consider it's $15 a ticket. That means that roughly 1,500 people went to see this movie,
which is disappointing to me. I feel like it should have done. I mean, I don't expect this movie to have made budget in a theater release, but I definitely expected it to do at least $1 million.
Yeah,
like at least $1 million.
I feel like I probably missed this release entirely.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember it coming out at all.
And I imagine it didn't come out in any of the theaters near us because I was back in Syracuse with you at the time. We were starting this podcast around the time this movie came out.
Yeah, only a few months previous.
So I feel like if it had come out and had any acclaim whatsoever, we would have gone to see it, because this, when you pointed out to me, said we were going to do it for this week. That was totally planned all along and not a last minute addition to the month.
Oh, totally.
It was right up my alley, and we'll talk about obviously in the upcoming episode why that is. But I stand by that. I would have loved to see this movie in the theaters.
Yeah, no, same. I mean, it's just the right amount. I mean, I I love my get in a spaceship, shoot a bunch of aliens, all manner of creature type movies. But this is also very up my alley of like grounded in in logic sci-fi film, and the thing about it that sci-fi is only the setting, like the story itself, and we talk about this, the story itself is not necessarily a unique story by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, it's actually a very tried and true story that we've seen time and time again, but the only thing that's sci-fi about it is the setting. That was the only thing that really tipped it into that sci-fi world.
Yeah, and it relies so heavily on the writing and on the just spectacular performances delivered by a very small cast. And I think that they carry it very well, especially Pedro Pascal and Sophie Thatcher.
Yeah, Sophie Thatcher.
The two ostensibly like main characters of this movie. Absolutely phenomenal performances.
Yeah, totally. So join us this coming Sunday to talk about this film. In the meantime, of course, there's a lot of different ways you guys can interact with us. Not only in the podcast, but in our entire network itself. So this coming Sunday, you have a brand new Never Heard of It episode, but Night Shift Radio itself actually has a Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/Night Shift Radio, you can actually subscribe on a couple of different tiers. But one of the cool things on the Patreon is able to get access to some of our podcasts early. So as an example, Never Heard of It, you're able to catch our episodes a few days early. You're able to catch a few things like Second Edition 1, maybe Left of the Dial. You get a few of our shows a little bit early in your inbox in a specialized RSS feed, which is pretty great. You'll also see some behind the scenes. We'll have some exclusive content there, some special episodes and bonus stuff. We've got 2 productions upcoming that are not podcasts, and you'll get kind of behind the scenes of us kind of building them up and promoting them and talking about what we're going to do for them. So that's really exciting. Very cool. Yeah, so you'll be able to see those. Like you'll see a trailer for one of our upcoming projects before anybody else in the world, which is really cool. So you're definitely going to want to check that out for as little as $5 a month. So if you're able to, we would super appreciate it. And like I said, we'll pay you back in cool content.
Makes me wish that I had a light switch right here, because I would totally make a keep the lights on joke. But the light switch is like 6 feet that way.
He's got that. Wait, I have one. Hang on. So I could say like, help us keep the lights on. But only people on YouTube got that joke because I turned the light off.
Sorry.
It's okay.
You're listening just to pretend that everything went dark.
Yeah.
Like,
I do all the time.
When I would go to the hockey games, and they would be sponsored by the local utility company, and they would do a thing where they black out the stadium and like run an ad for how important the local power company is, and you're supposed to be like, "Yay, local monopoly!"
Yay!
I don't know, something like that.
Capitalism. Yeah. But other than that, of course, if you head over to nightshiftradio.com, tons more information there, so you guys can check that out. And of course, you can follow us on social media at the Nahoit Podcast, the NHOIT Podcast on both Twitter and Instagram. But Caleb, does Never Heard of It have its own website?
Never Heard of It does have its own website, and if you look hard enough, you'll find it.
Oh, yeah.
No, you can check us out at thenahoit.com. It's THENHOIT.com, where we have our monthly schedule of upcoming episodes, links to trailers, as well as where you can find the movies streaming if available, and of course our contact form, because we want to hear from you. Your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, and as well as any requests that you might have for movies that you want to hear us talk about, because we did it in September last year, and we're doing it again next month in February, where we're doing all listener requests. So keep those coming, and we'll keep talking about them.
Heck yeah, we will. I'm totally down for talking about them at all times. But yeah, so thanks a lot for joining us for this trailer episode. We super appreciate it. And we have a brand new episode coming out this Sunday. So definitely check it out unless you're on Patreon, in which you will probably already have it by tomorrow.
Hey.
So thanks a lot for listening, everyone. And we will see you Sunday.
Yeah, we will.